didn't even notice. It ain't raining anymore. It's hard to breathe when all you know is the struggle of staying above the rising water line. Well, the sky is finally open. The rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella. Well, darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. If you could see what I see, you'd be blinded by the colors, yellow, red, and orange and green, and at least a million others. So tie up the boat, take off your coat, and take a look around. 'Cause the sky is finally open. The rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. You hold tight to your umbrella. Well, darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Oh, tie up the boat, take off your coat, and take a look around. Everything is alright now, 'cause the sky is finally opened. The rain and wind stop blowing, but you're stuck out in the same old storm again. Let go of your umbrella, 'cause darling, I'm just trying to tell you that there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. Yeah, there's always been a rainbow hanging over your head. It'll all be alright.
If you're feeling down and all alone, and you got nowhere to go, let's have a little conversation. 'Cause every time I'm feeling low, I'm swinging it up till I'm good to go. It don't have to be complications. If you smile, I've been washed away. If you cry, almost every day, you'll always have a friend in me. When you're lost, when you're scared, when you're broke beyond repair, you can lean on me. You can lean on me. When you're sad and insecure, you can take it anymore. You can lean on me. You can lean on me. If you feel like no one cares, and the winds are blowing everywhere, like you got no destination, you know you can always be yourself. You can always call for help, yeah. And we will find your inspiration, my friend. When you're lost, when you're scared, when you're broke beyond repair, you can lean on me. You can lean on me. When you're sad and insecure, you can take
Hello, everyone. My name is Bailey Grady. I live in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and I'm your facilitator for the evening. I've been a member of Silk and Sonder since March of 2020, and I joined the facilitator team a little over 6 months ago. After hitting a breaking point with my anxiety, I started my journey with Silk and Sonder, hoping it would help me better manage my mental health. So many months later, and I am happy to report that Silk and Sonder has done that for me and so much more. I truly don't know how I would have navigated 2020 without it. If you're new to this community, welcome. In addition to these beautiful journals each month, you have also gained an extended community full of some of the most genuine and supportive people around. And if you're a longtime Sonderer like me, welcome back. I know I saw a few familiar names in the chat already. You already know just how special these journals are and all the magic hidden within our community. Tonight, we're going to be putting pen to paper and getting these November journals ready for the month ahead. So before we get started, make sure that you have your November edition. If it hasn't come yet, that's okay. Just grab any notebook or a few pieces of paper to take notes on. You can transfer your thoughts when the journal arrives. So do be sure that you've got a pen, favorite markers, colored pencils, stickers, washi tapes, whatever it is that you like to use to set up your journal with. And of course, a favorite beverage. I have got some water like always. Get ready to carve out some me time. So you will be connecting with each other in the chat this evening. Be sure that you have your responses set to everyone so we can all see what you have to share. I love seeing all the incredible ideas you have and different ways that we can all connect with each other. We are also doing a gift raffle for our Sonder Socials this month. And by attending tonight, you're automatically entered. At the end of the month, Silk and Sonder will choose a winner and send some awesome self-care goodies. I would also love to see how you spend your social this evening. So take some photos during or after the event tonight of you setting up your November edition and tag us on Instagram at Silk and Sonder with the hashtag Sonder Social or post in the Sonder Club app. So I am so ready to kick off our November monthly Setup Sonder Social and looking forward to exploring the theme of compassion together. Compassion is the acknowledgement of a struggle combined with taking action to alleviate that struggle in some way. So when you think about practicing compassion, what comes to mind? And how are you usually interacting with it? Are you showing compassion to others or are they showing it to you? What about yourself? I think we often tend to focus on outward compassion, giving our time, attention, and care to others and their struggles. But Sonder fam, you cannot receive something if your hands are already full, and you certainly cannot pour from an empty cup. So let that sink in. You cannot receive something if your hands are already full, and you certainly cannot pour from an empty cup. So let's talk about those hands first. Have you ever been having an exceptionally tough time and someone tried to offer some advice or help or compassion but just really missed the mark and maybe even made things worse? It's true that some people are just not talented in the art of empathy and compassion, but oftentimes when people are trying to help, we can appreciate their effort even if it's not the right one. But when you're carrying too much, it's hard to appreciate anything unless it's truly helpful. And even then, it can still be really hard to accept compassion from others because so often one of the things that we're carrying is pride. So, what are you carrying with you that you need to set down for a while? Can you give yourself permission to let it go entirely? If not, try giving yourself permission to let it go for a month or a week or even just a few hours a day. Make a plan to spend some time without the burden of shame or guilt and do so with compassion. You'll be amazed at what you can receive from others when your arms are open. Now, going back to that empty cup, have you ever felt like when you were always giving and never receiving? Like, have you felt on maybe, I don't know, going on a kindness strike until some kindness was returned your way? I know I have. And in those moments, I can only feel how tired and burnt out I am. And it often makes me resentful of others when the only person burning the candle at both ends is me. If you've had moments like this too, did you consider showing yourself some compassion? Because I know I didn't. Self-pity is not my go-to emotion or state of mind, but often that's exactly what we need. The reality is, if you wish to give compassion to others, then it is vital and necessary that you continuously practice compassion with yourself. What things are you struggling with right now? Even if it feels small, what are the things that are weighing on you? How can you acknowledge and honor those feelings? And what can you do to put yourself at the forefront and take action to alleviate some of those struggles? Personally, I'm struggling with a lot of guilt, shame, and unreasonable expectations of myself these days. This time of year is always really busy for me, but instead of shifting my goals and priorities to accommodate a hectic schedule, I keep making the same demands of myself as if nothing has changed. It is no wonder that one, I'm not seeing a lot of success in my goals, and two, I'm feeling so guilty about it. Last month's theme of patience really allowed me to see how not making adjustments for my busy season impacts my mental, emotional, and physical health. So, when contemplating our new theme of compassion, I see the perfect opportunity to correct that. So, this month, I am committing to making time for myself and the things that can really help me lighten the load and fill up my cup while keeping compassion front of mind. As I practice compassion with myself, I cannot wait to watch how my compassion for others grows. I'll be tracking this by using the compassion log on page 13, but I'm also going to be using two blank notes pages. One as a gratitude log, something each day I'm thankful for, and the other is a kindness log, one act of kindness I witnessed, experienced, or created each day. If this is something you're interested in doing too, I would love for you to join me. I know each of us will have our own way of exploring this theme, and I hope that each of you will share your own journey this month in Sonder Club. The theme of compassion is really a special opportunity for reflection and realignment, and I know that there's going to be some incredible growth ahead. I appreciate all of you for allowing me to share with you my personal plan. Tonight is about connecting, being our real authentic selves, and letting go of any pressure to be perfect. It's also about getting our journals ready to help us receive this gift of compassion all throughout November. So without further ado, let's move forward onto our agenda. So for this evening, we will be doing a mindfulness prompt using Rosebud and Thorn, reflecting on October, setting our November intentions, setting up our mood and habit trackers, learning tips and tricks from one another while sharing in the chat, and completing a closing activity around our theme of compassion. So to begin our mindfulness prompt, let's go ahead and just take a few deep breaths together. I'm going to close my eyes, and if you feel comfortable, go ahead and do the same. And just take a deep breath in through the nose and let that out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. How's everyone feeling? A little more relaxed? It's pretty amazing what a few short breaths can do. Pausing to do this before I start journaling really helps me to be present. I hope this helped to ground you in for our prompt as well. Rosebud Thorn is one of our favorites, and it is an exercise we do often. Go ahead and find a blank page in your November edition and write down the words rose, bud, and thorn. Tonight, we're going to focus on the last 7 days. So for those who are new to this prompt, the rose represents a win, a highlight, or something that's going really well. The bud is a new emerging opportunity, and the thorn is a challenge, a struggle, something maybe not going so well. So for example, my rose is that this past weekend, I got to see a small group of some of my extended family, and we don't get to see each other often. And when we do, it's usually with a ton of other people around. So it was really nice to just kind of casually hang out and spend time getting to actually kind of know one another. I found it to be really special. My bud is that my husband and I are photographing another wedding next weekend. I'm excited and really hoping that the weather decides to partner with us, as the majority of the venue space is outside, but it will be beautiful no matter what. And then my thorn is that I've really kind of put myself on the back burner lately. I haven't been focusing on my self-care. I've been focusing instead on all of my responsibilities, except that most important one, which is taking care of myself first. So I'm hoping to turn that around this month. We're going to take a few minutes to reflect and write our rosebud and thorn. And once you're done, go ahead and share in the chat a few things that came up or something you wrote down. I'm going to put on some music for you to enjoy as you're writing, and I'll see you in just a few minutes. right, welcome back. I saw a lot of cool things going on in the chat, lots of people doing fall activities with loved ones, a few people sharing that their journal is their rose or bud, which of course I love to see. Just to call out a few things, I saw that Mallory shared their rose was that they got told they're doing great at their new job, and it's always so nice to have that validation in a new space like that. It really helps to make us feel comfortable and confident. I saw that Rachel shared their thorn is their son's progress report was way too vague. The control person cannot control. Rachel, I 1000% relate to that. That would be so frustrating for me. I hope you can get some more clarity from the teacher. Amy, I saw that your bud was that you're closing on your house in 3 weeks. That is so exciting. I know buying a house can be a really stressful process. So it's super exciting that you are almost done with that. And then I saw Randy shared that their Rose is also their daughter Rose, which is really neat, is back in school after being sick. So glad to hear that she is feeling better. I love the perspective that this activity brings. It really allows us to hold space, to reflect on how things are going in our lives with some balance. This exercise is really versatile. Some members like to do a variation of this each day using that one thing space in the weekly spread. If you enjoyed this, you could consider doing a rose, bud, thorn activity once a week this month. You could even put like a compassion twist to it by maybe listing out one way you shared compassion with yourself or others as the rose, an idea on how you might share compassion in the following week as a bud, and then one area you are needing more compassion in, the thorn. So just something to keep in mind. Moving on to our October reflections. As October comes to a close, we have this lovely ritual of starting fresh with our new edition by reflecting on what the last month has taught or brought us. And each theme is a chance to engage with a new part of ourselves and be open to the growth this new exploration may bring. So I'm going to ask everybody to go ahead and turn to page 8. And for the next few minutes, we'll be taking time to reflect on October, writing down our wins, hiccups, favorite moments, hard moments, and what do we want to start, stop, and continue. So for perspective, I tend to think of my wins as a monthly rose and my hiccups as monthly thorns. My favorite moments are exactly that, and the hard moments are your least favorite. There may be some overlap between some of these, and that's totally okay. A reminder, as we begin engaging with our journals, this journal is yours and yours alone. It isn't for anyone else. So please write freely, be honest, and interpret things however they speak to you. There is no right or wrong way to do any of this. There's only your way, and that's the only way that matters. So I tend to take my journal pretty literally, focusing in on actual events, goals, and stumbles. But with last month's theme of patience, you might like to focus your reflections specifically through that lens or look inward rather than outward. For example, some members use that stop, start, and continue section to focus on mindset, things they want to start telling themselves more of, stop telling themselves, that sort of thing. So do your best to just authentically reflect on your time with or without the patience theme, the ups, downs, growth, and hardships that last month may have brought, so we can start November with an open heart ready for compassion. So once you filled out this section, please share in the chat what came up for you, what you wrote, and take time to read what others are sharing. And with that, I'll see you in just a few minutes. All right, welcome back. I just want to thank all of you for being so open and just authentic and vulnerable tonight. Some of the things you're sharing are honestly just like making me so proud and so emotional. So, thank you for always connecting in such beautiful ways with one another. I do want to share a few things in the chat. I saw that Meg shared that they passed the audit section of the CPA exam, which is super exciting. Way to go, Meg. Lisa shared a win was that they journaled every day in their Silk and Sonder, which is amazing. So super great job, Lisa. Ashley shared that one of their favorite moments was doing a virtual fall 5K with their mom on her birthday, and even dad joined in, which is such a beautiful memory. And I agree, Ashley, that sounds really special. I'm glad you were able to do that. Lauren Marie shared a hard moment was falling out with a friend. I feel you there, Lauren. I have some weird things going on with my friends right now, just lots of changes. And, sometimes with growth comes differences and we have those falling out, but hopefully you guys can get back together or, find that rhythm. Sometimes people are in our lives for a season too, and that's okay. So thank you all for sharing. We are now going to segue into our November intentions on page 9 of our journal. So starting fresh and thinking about how we want to grow or what our goals for this upcoming month might be, keep in mind our theme of compassion. How might you create some space to really lean into this theme and make it part of your daily consciousness this month? Our intentions are broken down into the following categories, but feel free to change some of them if they don't speak to you. We have spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. And as the top of this page says, setting intentions is not making a to-do list. It's asking something of yourself and then giving yourself the strength to do it. It's important to let go of that pressure of perfection and use the ideas that work for you. So with this in mind, we wanted to share some examples for inspiration on how you might use this page for yourself. So you can use the theme of compassion as you set your intentions this month. You can choose to make some shifts in certain mindsets or beliefs in these categories that may be holding you back. You can use song lyrics or quotes that represent your intention. You can write how you want to feel in each one of these sections. You can use stickers or photos for each area, kind of like a vision board. You could write down one thing you want to do more of in each area and one thing you want to do less of. And of course, you can also just freeform, start writing, whatever comes up for you. That's how I did my intentions page for about a year. So the last few months, I've gotten really crafty and used pictures to set my intentions. You can see back in August, I used Sailor Moon characters. It was super fun and I really enjoyed it. But this month, I've decided to write down something I'm thankful for in each area and then write out ways to kind of honor those things as I set my intentions this month. So, for example, I'm thankful for my passions. So, my personal life intention this month is to make more time for them by including them in my weekly plans. So, once you're done, please share in the chat what you decided to write down or how you decided to tackle this. We would love to see what you're doing. And with that, I will be back with you in just a few minutes. Welcome back again. I always love seeing what you all have to share in the chat and how you're using these pages. Like most of us, I have a set of intentions every month and I don't always meet them. But the point of intentions is not to conquer each box, it's to set the idea of what you think you want over the next 30 days and then notice how those desires evolve. Flexibility is everything and it's absolutely a part of what makes intention so beautiful. So I hope you embrace the opportunity to show yourself some compassion as you engage with your intentions this month. To call out a few things from the chat, I saw several people decided to repurpose some sections, change some things. I love that. This is all about doing what works for you. So, for example, I saw that Renee shared that they were going to put a sticker on their professional goals as they don't work, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you should do. Make this your tool. That's what it's for. Cece shared that their professional goal is to forget about work while on vacation for 2 weeks. That's awesome, Cece. I would love to see where you're going, and I'd love for you to share some pictures and Sonder Club with us so we can all live vicariously through you. Nancy shared that this time they're starting each box with the words keep on, which sounds like things are going well. So I'm happy to hear that, Nancy. And then Sarah shared that for money management this month, it is no spend November and to wish them luck. I have full confidence in you, Sarah. You got this. Thank you all so much for sharing. With our intentions set, we are now going to move into our trackers for November. These are some of my favorite pages in the journal. They're the ones that really got me excited about signing up with Hope and Sonder in the beginning. So tonight we're going to start with our mood tracker. So go ahead and turn to page 10 of your journal and be sure that you've got those pens and stickers and setup supplies nearby still. So utilizing a mood tracker can allow us to understand trends and how we feel so we can take notice and begin making shifts. And when combined with our other trackers and journaling, our mood tracker can also help us notice habits or external forces that may be having a positive or negative impact on our emotional health. So from there, we can make changes to focus on the things that hopefully bring more positive days. And we are going to share our feelings wheel. This is a great resource on identifying which moods you may want to track. Looking at the feelings wheel, we have 6 main categories, which are joy, surprise, sadness, anger, fear, and love. So I'll bring this wheel back in a second, but first let's talk about how to set up your tracker traditionally. You can pick one emotion from each section of that feelings chart. Or you could focus on 1 to 2 areas of the feelings chart to really dive deep into 1 or 2 different emotion families. If you would like to, you can lean into our theme of compassion this month and select emotions that resonate to that theme for you. In fact, the word compassionate can be found in the love section of the wheel, so you can look for that in a minute. But I think you may find some other emotions in the joy and sadness section that may go along with compassion at times as well. You might also consider using a set of neutral moods rather than strong emotions. So, for example, maybe using the word bothered instead of frustrated or content instead of joyful. Sometimes it can be helpful to track less intense emotions. This is actually a tip I picked up from fellow facilitator Katie, who is helping me out behind the scenes and in the chat tonight. And then to fill in your mood tracker, you can choose to fill in every emotion that came up that day, which is how I used my tracker in the beginning, or you can just fill in whatever emotion was the strongest. So here's some examples of how people use their tracker. So you can see this person on the left decided to just use stickers and then draw like different expressions on them, used a different one for each one of their moods. And they actually added a mood in there. So you can totally do that. You can add and take away moods, use as much or as little as you like. The person in the middle decided to do different colored lines for each emotion. And you can see that they were able to kind of stack those so that they could track multiple emotions really easily. And then the person on the far right just chose a different colored petal for each emotion, and they kind of just decided to turn their wheel into a flower. But remember, this again is all about what works for you. Our members use this page in a variety of ways, and the canvas is yours to fill. So you can take these tips and tricks and run with them, or choose to do something completely different. So for example, I started using my mood tracker to focus on my anxiety levels. And it's been really beneficial for me to notice what is working, what isn't, and celebrate how far I've come. I typically pick a different color for each anxiety level, but this month I'm just using a single pen to make it super easy for me to track. So here are some other ways that you can repurpose or refocus your mood tracker. You could use it as a give thanks today tracker. writing in something that you're thankful for each day. You can use it, like me, for tracking anxiety levels, or if you struggle with something different, like depression, you can use it for that. You can decide to use it to really focus in on a specific mood or feeling. So scale of 1 to 10 on how you're feeling a certain emotion that day. You can also write out 6 things of compassion for the month and try to do one of those each day. And if you're struggling with any other health issues, sometimes this can be helpful for tracking symptoms. It can be a really great tool when you go into the doctor or that specialist for those appointments. So use the feelings wheel and suggestions as a starting point. And once you set up your mood tracker, please share in the chat what you put down or how you decided to set yours up. If you decided to do something different, definitely want to hear about it. And I'll see you in just a few minutes. All right. So thanks so much for taking the time to complete your mood tracker. I love seeing the wheel light up with hearts for the moods you're tracking and for the folks that are trying something different. And it seems like we have a lot of people trying new things, and I love that. I love it when you make this journal all about what works for you. So great job doing that. And thank you all so much for sharing. You're doing an awesome job doing that tonight. So let's move on to our habit tracker. And it's on the very next page, so it's super easy. Using the habit tracker can help us start new habits, stop doing habits that don't serve us, and continue habits that bring value. So, here are a few tips and tricks to consider for your habit tracker this month. You can use the theme of compassion to ground you in making selections this month. Don't forget, self compassion is the most important part. And you can pick a theme for your habits like self love, self care, giving thanks, eating habits, sleep habits, whatever sparks your heart. And if you tracked habits last month, you can choose to continue the same ones into this month. You can also find inspiration from your intentions that we set up earlier. And remember, you don't have to fill up every line of this wheel. You can just pick a few and leave the rest. Try to find some balance between habits you know you can do and ones that are maybe going to be more challenging, things you're excited about, and things that maybe are not so fun, but you know that they're important for yourself. So here are a few ways that people set up their habit tracker. And I always like to call out special attention to the one in the far right, where there are several days with the word migraine written. Sometimes things that we cannot control barrel in to disrupt our lives, and that's hard enough without you feeling guilty about your habits. So when these things happen, I encourage you to log them in the habit tracker. And when you get going again, congratulate yourself, because getting back into a rhythm is just as much of a win as starting one in the first place. And acknowledging these hiccups and hardships is absolutely part of practicing self compassion. Remember, acknowledgement is literally in the definition. So I usually like to draw a little random pattern on my habit tracker and then choose like a color for each section to color it in when I complete it, which you can see in the corner. But I'm simplifying this month by just sticking with a single pen and little symbols to help me track quickly and easily during this busy time. I always make one of my lines a weekly goal so that when I set a weekly habit, I can tie it into my monthly wheel. And this month, I also have a line that says weekly rest. I've been using the Mind Body Health Plan in the weekly section of the planner to focus on a different type of rest each day. And when I've done it successfully, it's been awesome. So I'm ready to start making that a regular habit in my wheel now as well. Doing this also allows me to have some flexibility in my habits and goals as I move through the month, which is helpful for me. I also have a share the love habit that I'm using this month. And each day I want to share a compliment or an affirmation or motivation with myself or others to honor compassion. So, for inspiration, here are some different habit tracker ideas. Share in the chat what you're tracking, and I'll put on some more music so you can get your wheel started. Thank you all so much for completing your habit tracker. You, of course, noticed that as you started sharing, our idea board starting lighting up with stars. Katie is making that magic happen for us. And it's really neat to see some of you deciding to use some of these for your journal this month. There are so many great ideas in the chat. So thank you all again so much for sharing. I mean, this is one of the best parts of these events. So it was awesome seeing everyone's reflections, intentions, the habit tracker set up for November, the mood tracker. I hope to see some updates from you and Sonder Club later this month as we continue to explore compassion further. And in honor of our theme, we are actually going to turn to page 24 in our journal to see what tricks and treats we can find. So there is a quote on this page, and we're going to review it together. It says, "That is what compassion does. It challenges our assumptions, our sense of self-limitation, worthlessness, of not having a place in the world. As we develop compassion, our hearts open." So go ahead and read through the quote. What tricks can you find for leaning into compassion this month? What treats do you see for yourself when you practice compassion? And when you have an answer for each, look again. Does the quote have something more to offer? For example, think of a trick as a tip. So, one trick that I found in this quote is that compassion is an aggressive verb. It challenges, which means that when I'm practicing compassion, it may often feel like a challenge. And if it does, that's normal. It's a part of what compassion is. And think of a treat as something compassion can grow in our lives. So, a treat that I found is that as we develop more compassion, our hearts open. So, what does that mean for me? An open heart means more joy and less stress. So, practicing compassion will give me the treats of joy and hopefully relaxation. So, share what you find in the chat. There are no right or wrong answers. If you get stuck, just write out what this quote means to you. And go ahead and let us know what you come up with. I'll put on some music for you guys to have time to think. Thanks, everyone. I'd love, 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 love to see your tricks and treats from this quote and Sonder Club. We do have some time, so I want to share a few things because you guys were really sharing some beautiful things in the chat. When I decided to do this activity, I honestly was a little nervous about it because it's a little out there, it's a little different, and I was not sure how it would land. And I love how much you guys dove into this and just got it. So thank you so much for making this work. So some of the awesome things I saw shared were Amanda shared, I can be very hard on myself and have a little compassion for myself and that I need to work on this. Absolutely, Amanda. I think we all need to work on it, to be honest. Brandy shared that a trick is to have an open mind. 100%. That's like always the trick, right? Carly shared that being compassionate towards myself is literally showing me my worth. That is amazing, Carly. That's 100% true. That I love that. You need to like quote that. That is a quotable quote. And then Regina shared the treat that will develop is having richer relationships and a fuller life, which I think is absolutely true. Kristen shared that this quote makes them think of walking a mile in someone else's shoes. You never know what people are struggling with at any time, which is so true and something that we can always use a reminder on. You all have really brought this to life and are just absolutely showing all of the beauty that compassion is just holding on to, waiting for us to take it. So thank you so much for sharing. And thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you had fun and a really meaningful experience getting to spend some dedicated time on you and this setup. If you enjoyed connecting with each other this evening and you don't already know, we have an app called Sonder Club that allows you to further your practices and share with other members of the community anytime. You can find the app on the Play Store or use your camera and your phone to scan a QR code to download now. And then finally, as always, can you do me a favor? Within the next 24 hours, you'll be receiving a survey in your inbox about your experience tonight. Please fill it out. You can even hold up your phone to start the survey right now. Events like this one are born directly out of the feedback our members provide in these surveys. And if you love something, tell us. If you'd like to see something different, call it out. We are always so inspired by your ideas and want to continue to provide a meaningful experience to this community. So again, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I had a ton of fun and I'm feeling totally energized and so ready to welcome in November and get to embrace some of this compassion together alongside all of you. I hope you feel the same. See you next time.
Well, I woke up to the sound to silence the cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a bottle of wine, your head in the curtains, and heart like the 4th of July. You swore and said we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are. Though I've never been through hell like that, I've closed enough windows to know you can never look back. If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. So I met up with some friends at the